starts in the legs.
It's static, molded, rusted shut.
Unifies our understanding.
They looked like a colony of cherry tomatoes with spots. My mother shrieked
What is
at
it?
the quivering
It's slam
end.
poetry. It's the combination of performance and poetry, full of everything from sarcasm to sympathy, and it has become host to many exciting events, thanks to the University of Washington's Manic Mouth Congress Slam Poetry Collective.
Manic Mouth Congress is a group of humans who like to listen to different kinds of performance art, chiefly poetry, but also stories, music, where people orate, all sorts of different things. And so my role within it is kind of a lead facilitator amongst all our different events. And we're just basically, we could be termed a literary arts organization, but we're more just aiming to kind of build a sense of community among people who both want to be listeners and writers. So in our slam series, we have 2 qualifying slams, and so the purpose of those 2 slams, in each of them there were 12 poets competing. And through 3 rounds of competitive performance poetry scored by 5 random judges in the audience, the top 5 poets in each of those qualifying slams, one was in December and one was just a week ago in January, the top 5 poets from each are then qualified for the Grand Slam on February 4th. We've kind of narrowed it down to the top 10 people, 5 from each slam, that are going to compete at the Grand Slam for the top 4 spots on the Poetry Slam team that's going to represent our entire campus in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Although the Slam series focuses on the poets, there's nothing like a great mother-daughter MC duo to keep the show moving and the crowd on the edge of their seats.
You didn't hear that. You did not hear that. Judges, you hear.
I love emceeing because it's kind of a different aspect of poetry. Like slam poetry got me into like being who I am and like embracing that I'm wild and crazy. And then emceeing is kind of just like where I can develop better in that realm. And it's a lot more funner, I feel like. There's no pressure when you MC because you can just be as loud and as goofy as you need to be.
There you go. My mom's kind of old, okay?
It's fun, actually. I think it's really fun. My mom has always told me I've been a ham, very kind of loud and goofy, really comedic. So it works out. I mean, she's kind of taught me everything I know, so it's kind of like she just lets me get in the starlight and just shine, I guess.
When you're the voice of God, your job on stage is recording the scores, and then when the poets are reading really fascinating poems, you have to kind of listen with one ear while you add up the scores. And usually you announce the scores if you're voice of God, which is why they call you that. But in this case, Rose is so good at it that she gets that part of the job. So I'm just the scorekeeper. One thing you realize the older you get is that you kind of get stuck at a certain age and you always will feel that age. And that's the great thing about getting old is that you never, I don't think anybody ever feels old. I don't feel old. And so I don't really feel like there's a big gap between me and the people here that are much younger than me. I think people who are like each other, it doesn't matter what age they are.
I mean, really anyone can come. We're really open to kind of seeing other forms of poetry and other forms of, short stories, oration, singing, music. So really any age, any performance. You don't have to go to UW. You don't have to know someone who goes to UW. That's kind of another one of our big goals is reaching out into the greater Seattle area and making it a place where UW students can kind of intersect with the rest of Seattle and kind of see what's going on.